Hi you guys, it is Lauren here. After a very long hiatus, I just wanted to welcome you back to my channel. I had weight loss surgery in November of 2017 and it is now April. It's April 1st, April Fool's Day of 2019. And so I've had surgery about a year and a half ago. It's quite a long time. My weight loss has slowed down significantly. I've only been losing like a pound or two in the past couple of months per month. And I'm trying to accept that, which is kind of difficult. When you're used to a really rapid weight loss, then it becomes more and more difficult to accept that you're not really losing a lot of weight anymore, especially if you're not exactly where you wanted to be. I never had an original goal of a weight that I wanted to be at, but I guess I had a few different goals. Like I knew I wanted to be below the 200s. I knew that I wanted to be in that range, I guess, which I have well surpassed. But after that point, I think I just wasn't sure really where I would want to be, and what I really wanted more than anything was to be really happy with my body, which is a thing that I am not. And I think that a lot of people who have had weight loss surgery but haven't continued on to having plastic surgery will find a lot of faults within themselves, and I think that's kind of a natural progression of things, because you realize, or you come to realize, all of the damage that you've really done to your body over the years with being overweight, and it's something that becomes hyper visible to many people. I'm not going to say that it's like that for everyone, but I definitely notice some body dysmorphia. And that's something that I want to discuss a little bit. I think that in preparing yourself for this process, you should mentally be preparing yourself for getting to a weight or a size, or noticing a photo or something where you will feel like you look fabulous, and then maybe an hour later or a day later, you'll look at yourself in the mirror and you see the same girl who maybe you feel like you haven't lost any weight at all. I think before and after pictures are really helpful for that. I also think just having a network of support, your friends and your family, can assure you and reassure you over and over again. But really, I think that time is something that will play more of a factor into that. I'm sure that eventually, as more time goes on, that I'll get used to the way that I look, and I'm sure that I won't feel those same ways. Also, some days I think you'll wake up, maybe you haven't eaten the best the day before, maybe you have, maybe you'll go and you'll weigh yourself on the scale and you'll be disappointed at the number, or you'll feel bloated. I mean, if you're a woman, I feel like that's something that happens, and so it happens for me at least, for like 1 week out of the month, every month. And so you might wake up on those days and you might feel like, for me, like I'm 300 pounds again. And, I have to like do a double take and say like, no, maybe like take a photo in the mirror, or take a picture or whatever, look in the mirror, look at yourself, compare yourself to how you were, and realize, no, you haven't lost all of this progress. You didn't gain 130 pounds back overnight. That didn't happen. You're just struggling, and your mind is struggling to catch up with your body, and to catch up with the way that you look. And it's really difficult. I don't think that, like, even if you go to therapy for it, or if you talk to a million people, I don't think that most people could really understand how strange it is to look at yourself, or to see yourself in a photo and not recognize yourself, not really see you for you. Things change, like your face changes, like your features look bigger when you lose weight, like your eyes, your nose, or your mouth. And people note those things all of the time. They'll tell you. And at first, it's really exciting. At first, you're excited to have people notice those changes, and I think you're really excited to see them within yourself too. And then as more time goes on, I think, for me at least, I feel kind of sad in a way for the person that I was, for not really taking care of myself and loving myself for such an extensive period of my life, for most of my life, and not knowing how to take care of myself. And that's something that I want to touch on. When you have weight loss surgery, it's really difficult to not lose the weight in many ways. You have this extreme restriction in your stomach, and it becomes a challenge to eat. It becomes a challenge to relearn how to eat. Like, you've starved yourself for like 2 or 4 weeks or whatever your surgeon requires, and then you have all of these water requirements and things like that. And so then when you gradually relearn to eat, you're eating most of the time a really high protein diet so that you don't lose muscle mass. For me, I exercise a lot, so I try to eat a lot of protein. But now, a year and a half out, I can eat a lot more than I could before, and I'm still learning to really try to balance the way that I eat, to try to eat more healthily. I'm trying to get more vegetables into my diet. For me personally, I have horrible acid reflux now, and indigestion and heartburn. So sometimes I don't want a vegetable. Sometimes I want to eat like a bunch of crackers because they feel good in my stomach, and a lot of other things don't necessarily. So that's difficult. There's a lot of challenges, and I think relearning to eat is probably the biggest challenge. Like, people say this all of the time. It's such a cliche for people who have had weight loss surgery that, like, weight loss surgery doesn't cure food addiction, which is so true though. Like, I could go and I could still eat a bag of chips today if I really wanted to, but like, I know now that I can't even have them in my house. Like, I just can't do that, because if I do, I'll just eat them all. Like, I know about myself that I binge eat. I know about myself that even with a gastric sleeve surgery, I still will binge eat if given the opportunity, or if I'm emotional, or whatever the case may be. It's really a long road, and it's a difficult challenge. People also will tell you, like, that your relationships will change. Like, I think there's a really high rate of divorce, all kinds of things like that. And I would like to touch on that a little bit at a year and a half out, and just note that that's very true. Like, a lot of the people that you're close to might change. You might become close to other people. Your friends, even though you may feel very overweight, may start calling you like a skinny bitch, or they may, you may complain about your body to them, and then they're like, hey, but like, you're smaller than me. And like, those things don't occur to you because that's not a thing that you've ever dealt with for your whole life. Like, for me, that's true. I know that sometimes I'll talk about my weight issues or my issues with my body to some of my friends who now are bigger than me, but like, it's not something that I would have like even thought of. It's not something that I think about, because I'm still used to always having been the fatter friend, right? So that's strange. But yeah, your relationships change, because I think that, like, through this journey, you can't help but change. Like, you change physically, but you also begin to take care of yourself in a different way than you probably ever have before. I know for me personally, this is the first time in my life that I feel like I'm putting myself first. I had to spend like $7,000 at least just on the surgery itself, actually, when I had it done, and I went down to Mexico to have it done. My insurance wouldn't have covered it here in the US. So I did it that way, and I think after making an investment like that in yourself, that you have to keep up. just knowing that like there's no backing out of it. Like it could be medically dangerous if you overeat. So you have to take care of yourself, and you have to put yourself first, at least for the first while after you have this surgery. And I think that it helps you to realize later as well, like the relationships that you have that maybe aren't as healthy as you thought. And just realizing that like you could put yourself first physically, you should also be putting yourself first emotionally and in your relationships. For a lot of people who have been overweight for a lot of their lives, I think one of the things that we do is we compensate with our personality. Like you might have a great personality and people, you know, may have been drawn to you before because of that. And I feel like after you lose the weight, you have this great exuberant personality, and you're also like a beautiful person. Like physically, people might be more drawn to you. You may develop more like relationships, like gain more friends, things like that. And you may also have the confidence too. For me personally, I really was struggling with anxiety right around and when I had weight loss surgery. And for a few years before that as well, my anxiety was through the roof. It was difficult for me at times to even leave my home. That's something that I rarely deal with now. I've done things now, like gone to climbing gyms, even though I'm terrified of heights. And I do that kind of regularly now. I go to the gym all of the time. I run. Like I never could run before. It would actually like hurt my back physically. But I run like every day now, and I love it. It makes me happy. But yeah, there's different things that you'll realize that you'll do, things that change, things that people will tell you that your whole personality may have changed. Who you are may have changed. They may say these things to you. And I would say you have to stay really solid and secure and know that like you've always been the same in your heart. You've always been the same person. It's just the physical packaging has changed, and maybe you've gained a lot of confidence. Maybe you have, maybe you're able physically to do things that you couldn't do before. You're less limited, and you put yourself first maybe. And I think it's really a beautiful thing. And I think that it's really a journey. Like it's a trip. I don't know. But I can't ever imagine going back. One of the things that I have concerns about, and I would love if you guys want to leave me comments or anything, but I would love to hear about like how you guys maintain your weight loss. For me, I feel like I'm gonna start going into that maintenance phase. I would like to lose more weight. I'm not sure if I will. I definitely want to have some plastic surgery done in the future. When I can afford it, I will. That's something I really want to do for myself. But yeah, like as far as your eating goes, a year and a half out, like, what do you guys do? I'm just curious. Like, do you still eat high protein? Do you still make sure that you get your water intake? Do you still eat like keto? Like, do you do that? I don't do that. Sorry, I had a hair. Anyway, yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys are doing. I might want to change things up and try something new. I definitely don't want to go back to trying like a 1 month or like a 1 week reset or whatever people do. I don't feel like that's really a healthy way to eat. I don't think it's sustainable, and it's not really something that I want to do. I also don't mind sticking with diets like low carb, but I really would like to get to a place where I just eat really healthily, steadily for my whole life. And yeah, you know what I would love is if you have comments about what you eat on a daily basis. Do you eat the same thing every day so that you won't binge? Do you eat like do you meal prep? Like, what do you guys do? Anyway, I'd love to hear from you, and this has been fabulous. So I'm happy to update you guys again soon if you are interested, and just talk a little bit more about what this process is really like, because it is a wonderful journey, but at 1.5 years out, you kind of no longer are on the high of weight loss and of losing weight every day, and you kind of slowly begin to ease back into more of like a normal life. And so yeah, I'd love to talk about that anytime. Take care, guys. Bye.